When military couple Gary and Antonia Woodland gave birth to a son with autism, they felt they could handle it because they had each other.
Together we can beat this, we got this, we'll do it together, There won't be any challenge that he faces that will be that great that the two of us won't be able to handle.
But an unexpected challenge changed all that. Antonia, who gave up her military career to take care of their son, died from an aggressive cancer.
About 6 weeks after she found out, things got worse, and it was very quick, very unexpected.
Spiritually, Gary could hardly handle Antonia's death.
It plastered my faith. There's no denying that.
Grief-stricken, this busy soldier struggled on alone and found single parenting almost too much.
Challenging, overwhelming, depressing, and sometimes it just seemed that it was going to just be an ultimate failure.
Gary and his son Christian lived in near isolation because it was hard going out with the boy or finding others to care for and understand him.
Because unfortunately, people do judge your child.
Then Gary discovered Jill's House in McLean, Virginia, a ministry where trained Christian caregivers lavish love and attention on children with special needs, while giving their parents a much-needed break.
We are taking care of the most vulnerable that are close and precious to God's heart.
Jill's House is named for Jill Solomon, daughter of McLean Bible Church senior pastor Lon Solomon and wife Brenda.
By her first Thanksgiving, she had 17 grand mal seizures in that single day, which caused severe brain damage.
Caring for her grew into an often 24-hour-a-day job that utterly exhausted her parents.
Just being desperate for a night of rest, a night of sleep, just something, a break, is what led them to think that we need to do something different for families just like ours, because there's nothing out there that exists for them.
For parents of special needs children, their care can often become like a full-time job, even an around-the-clock one. And it's hard to find help because how many babysitters have the special training it takes to care for such children? And if you can't get breaks, some sort of respite, you yourself can spiral into a bone-deep weariness and sadness, even depression. So the Solomons and their church built Jill's House as a model for changing the face of disability ministry across the country. It's become a sanctuary and place of joy for folks like the McNeils. This family found out several years ago both kids, Waverly and Oliver, suffer from a genetic disorder, stealing their physical and mental abilities, and likely to kill them before they reach adulthood. It was a dark day when Matt and Shannon heard the fatal verdict for Waverly.
Shannon's first question to the doctor, and it was a room full of doctors, which is never a good sign, but was, is she going to die? The doctor very matter-of-factly said yes.
But little Waverly had no idea as they drove away from the doctors.
Waverly was in the back seat singing If You're Happy and You Know It, which just heartbreaking to see her sweet little face in the rearview mirror in the back seat, just singing as happy as though nothing had happened.
Then came the same verdict for Oliver. As both kids began their downward slide, Shannon traded her outside career for what's become all-consuming care and endless therapy. Take just the last year.
We had almost 400 appointments when you added the doctor appointments.
The days and nights Waverly and Oliver stay at Jill's House give Matt and Shannon rejuvenating breaks they say help them be better parents. And it's magic for the kids.
It allows us to have experiences, or to see them have experiences that we thought they would never have, where they get to have sleepovers and go to day camp.
The McNeils gladly accept the help because they realize the odds are stacked against them and their marriage.
Having a child with special needs, your divorce rate goes up. The loss of a child, it goes up more. The loss of two, it's pretty high.
Instead of trying to make sense of Waverly and Oliver's fate, their parents focus on the good.
They've been given a very precious gift of life that they are living very well and beautifully and with dignity, and they touch a lot of people.
And they see their children bring out the best in some people, like those caregivers at Jill's House and friends who now reach out to help others with special needs.
I love those finding those moments of grace and beauty that our kids kind of have inspired.
Daffron suggests letting God lead you in the best way to reach out to family or friends who might be in similar situations.
You don't see these families out and about in the community because it's difficult for them to be there. It's difficult for them to even just go to church. Just embrace them. Start something simple. You don't have to do something as big as Jill's House.
One plan includes using Christian camp facilities during their off-season because they are ready-made getaways for care and rest. If you reach out, you'll likely experience wonders and surprises. Like hearing from Sean, who was told he'd likely never speak, then said his first two words, Jill's house. Or Max, born without eyes and nearly deaf, yet displaying his musical gifts at Jill's house. Matt McNeil believes there are few deeds more divine than reaching out to these kids.
Jesus says, what you do to the least of these, you do unto me. It is hard to think of someone who counts as sort of the least of these than a kid who is born with everything just sort of stacked against them.
It's a ready-made mission for caring hearts. Paul Strand, CBN News, Jill's house, McLean, Virginia.